I got bullied through middle school, and there would be times I didn't want to go to school. And the days I didn't go to school, thankfully I didn't. I ended up seeing this show called Bully Beatdown, and it would be hosted by Mayhem Miller. And I thought that show was pretty damn cool. He'd go up to bullies, and he'd be like, "Hey, I got 10 grand for you. If you can go 2 rounds with my MMA fighter, you can get 10 grand." And it was dope. So these bullies would be like, "Oh yeah, let's do it," and they would get whooped on. They would lose the money, and they would. It was dope. I like that, and I would see that. Damn, these MMA fighters, they would whoop them silly. So I'd be like, if these guys can do it, I can do it. I ended up finding. My mom actually ended up finding Dragon House before I did. I passed by it a few times, but I didn't know it was an MMA gym. And I went there for the kids class, and then ever since that kids class, I've been just there. I got my ass whooped a lot. I just want to get stronger and better. That's what really kept me going. Even though at the gym, I would be like, man, these guys kind of a bully, but I dealt with it, and I ended up growing to love everybody in that gym. Even though I was quiet, I didn't talk to anybody for the first 2 years.
If I count, dude.
Just gotta rush them. Sometimes they don't keep. It catches them off guard. You gotta be smart about things. See what. I've been doing this for a while, so I know when to catch people off guard, what they're thinking. So that's how I go about it. Just rush them, catch them off guard, sweeps, takedowns. They're all there. So.
And
ooh, man, it sucks. So I used to work at KFC, and Taco Bell. So cutting weight and eating and trying not to eat the food would kind of suck. So you'd get angry a lot, and scheduling, man, was hard because you need to make money. Sometimes I would work more than I would train. Right now, I think I got a decent job that can work with my hours. So, it was hard in the beginning, but I would still show up to train. I'd find my days to come at least. Whenever I got the chance to, I would come to the gym. And I still do. But right now, I'm sick, so I can't. I'll stay a pro until my coach thinks I'm ready to go pro. Yeah. So, right now I'm just racking up experience, and yeah.
Cool. I think that's it.
I used to be a wrestler, and one of the guys that we trained with was my wrestling coach back in the day. And he just told me, hey, I see you getting into a lot of trouble. I see that you have a fighter's passion, a fighter's spirit, stuff like that. Go to my gym, the Dragon House. And I was like, any day? He was like, yeah, any day. So I walk in, and there's this short little Latin dude with a fade and that Latin faux little thing with the little flip of the hair, whatever. And he's the shortest, smallest dude there, and everybody else is just looking around, staring at him, and then doing what he says. And I'm like, he's coach. All right, cool. Let's get to it. And I'm like, hey, Jim OK sent me here. My name's Woody. He's like, oh, what up? My name's Andrew, but everybody around here calls me Monkey. And I look at him, I'm like, Monkey? That's funny. All right, cool. And so he's like, all right, what can you do? I'm like, what do you need me to do? He's like, well, what can you do? I'm like, whatever you need me to do. And he's like, well, what can you do? And I was like, whatever you need me to do. And I was like, it's just a little bit of a back and forth. And we eventually found out that we ended up going to the... Oh my God. First impression, it's he's a great dude. I mean, timid, humble, really cool, really chill. When you act, he doesn't really engage in conversation unless you really talk to him. And when he does, it's refreshing. He gives you a different perspective, stuff like that. And that's what really made me start talking to Monkey, because he's a cool dude. He has a lot to say. He has some cool ideas. So I was like, hey, I like this dude. He's pretty lit. And then one day, I got into some trouble. Some friends were with me shoplifting at a mall. And I wasn't. They were. They separated from me. I'm going, where the fuck are these guys at throughout the entire mall? Monkey wasn't with us. And they ended up getting caught up. I got caught up with them. And the security guards were trying to like do jujitsu tactics on me. And I was like, hey, stop doing that because I know what you're doing. I do this. And long story short, I got caught up. I got in trouble at home. My family thought I was being a degenerate, thought I was being just unreasonable, uncontrollable. I've always been what you call a problem child or a wild child. So I had nowhere to go. I had nothing to do besides MMA and Dragon House. And I didn't even have money to pay for like my gear and stuff like that. So I got a sleeping bag from one of my friends, and I'm sleeping on the mats of the gym. And my Sifu goes, hey, you got to figure out something a little more permanent. And I'm sitting here going, all right, what can I do? What can I do? And then Monkey's like, hey, you can come stay with us. Like, I can talk to my mom, and you can come stay with us. And I'm like, dude, are you serious? Like, yeah, man, I got you. And he was like, my Jesus right there, dude. It was a miracle moment. I was like, hallelujah, thank God. And I met his mom, wonderful lady, sweet, amazing woman. She raised...
So Andrew Johnson, he's about to be turning 21, I believe. He started training with me about 8 or 9 years ago. I think he was like 12 or 13 years old. He was in my KISS class at the time because our KISS class program is from 5 years old to 12 years old. And I remember he was on the KISS program, KISS classes. And then when he turns 13, he's starting to come to training at the adult class, you know, which means 13 and up. So he started training in the adult class 13, 14, somewhere around there. And then starting to grapple with the full-grown man, you know, starting to get pushed around by a lot of other people because he's a really small guy. I think he was like probably 120 pounds, is only 5'2", you know, he's a pretty small, petite kid. You know, so he got muscle around pretty much every night, but that one thing about him, he doesn't quit. And finally, he's starting to like learning some submissions because he's so small and petite. He moved pretty fast, and again, sometimes he jump on people's back and start tapping people out with the rear naked choke. And that's where his nickname coming from. Everyone calls him Monkey at the Dragon House because he liked to jump on people's back and start choking people out. You know, he has probably like almost 10 amateur fights, you know. He's probably one of the most active fighter in the Dragon House too, but it's always a problem running into when he against all the other flyweight fighters. Guys just out-muscle him. You know, the strength is not really there, maybe because genetic part of it. So he's emphasized, you know, trying to get bigger, stronger, and he started doing a lot more powerlifting, deadlift and squats, and you know, heavy dumbbell works, calisthenic, you know, body works, and trying to get him stronger. You know, so his technique's there, good, phenomenal grapplers. You know, but a lot of times where in the MMA fights where he can't finish. A lot of times people just muscle out of the submission he put on people. So once he get a little stronger, you know, I can see there's a hope for him to make it to a big lead. And generally, people like to see guys that fight in the cage where like a bigger bodies. So flyweight, it's not very a popular weight class in the MMA in general. And now he can make to a straw weight 115 pounds. But the smaller weight class you are, the harder to fight an opponent because there aren't that many strawweight fighter in the Bay, you know. So, and I think Andrew is still kind of a little bit of growing, you know. I think he can fill up the body a little bit more as turning into adult. So, hoping he can get some weight up, get some size in, and work on all the other holes he has in the game, and make him become well-rounded fighter. and someday hope I can see him to turn pro and to make a scene in the flyweight division. Oh shoot, I have countless of story about Andrew. He surprised a lot of people. His will, the way he fights. I mean, he looks definitely. You look at his face, or you can talk into him. He's definitely one of the most nicest, most polite person you know to talk to. To have a good manner, but when the bell rings, he's turned into a little animal. You know, he go for hunt.